Call to order the August 19th meeting of the Conestoga Valley Board of School Directors. I want to welcome those of you that came here tonight for the last time in this room, and those that are tuned in remotely. Before we pledge the flag, would you please all stand for just a moment? The saddest day for the CV family is when it loses one of its children, but the pain for the family is unfathomable. Please join in a moment of silence and respect for the memory of young Matthew Kofroth Jr. and with compassion and condolences for the family, loved ones, and friends for their tragic loss. Will you join me in the pledge to the flag? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm sorry, I'm not good with that sort of thing. Mrs. Martin, will you take attendance, please?
We have 5 school directors present tonight. Absent are Mr. Gensel, Mr. Hurst, Dr. Martin, and Ms. Trowbridge.
But we do have a quorum. This is our second meeting of the month, and where we make most of our votes. It includes the consent agenda with routine items and items from last week's meeting. The entire agenda and all attachments are posted on our website. That said, I will take a motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? If not, we'll move right on to board commendations. Congratulations to the following educator induction committee members for a welcome and successful 2024 induction week. Sean Campbell, Tonya Santa Maria, Jill Stokes, Patty Cardina, Amber Lysick, and Natalie Niles. Superintendent's comments. Dr. Hartman.
Good evening. Before I start my report, I just want to echo the board commendations and express my appreciation for the induction team. Mel Upton, who's here tonight, it kind of coordinates our new teacher induction efforts for the district. She does an outstanding job. And what I think is really great here is that we have a whole committee of teachers from throughout the district who meet to really plan and organize and provide the professional development to our new teachers. It's not a one-person show. It's a team effort, and we have a really strong induction program that goes a long way. And we already do a nice job of bringing in high quality people, and we want to keep them here. And getting them on the right foot is a big part of that. So can't say enough about our induction program. Just before I introduce new staff this evening, just a couple things to point out on my superintendent's report for all of you. Just note a couple lists that are being approved tonight. Our Brightville employee list, that would be all of our bus and van drivers. So definitely they're critical staff for us. Our volunteer coaches list and our fall student teaching and field placement list for Millersville University, which we keep hearing about the teacher shortage, but if you checked out that list, it's pretty promising. I believe we have 28 or 29 student teachers who will be joining us just from Millersville this year, let alone any other colleges and universities that request that. So we're pretty pleased with that. So happy to introduce 2 new staff members this evening out of the 3 we have being approved. The one who couldn't make it was just offered employment on Friday afternoon, and they weren't able to rearrange their schedule. So we'll make sure they get here in September. But first, I'd like to introduce Tristan Cagle. Tristan? Wait. Tristan's going to be the new emotional support teacher at Leola Elementary. He has his bachelor's degree in English education from Misericordia University, and he's currently working on his master's in special education at Messiah University. He began his career as a long-term substitute in the Northwest Area School District and since 2022, he has worked at the Prospect Grove High School in Columbia as an English teacher as well as a special education coordinator. Welcome, Tristan. Next, we have Jessica Minnick. Hi, Jessica. Jessica will be a 5th grade teacher at Smoketown Elementary. Most recently, Jessica was a 6th grade ELA teacher in the Governor Mifflin School District. Prior to this, she served as a long-term substitute in various districts, mostly in Lancaster County. She has a bachelor's degree in elementary education from Penn State and is currently working on her master's through Slippery Rock University to become a reading specialist and instructional coach. So can't wait to have both of you start. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to Conestoga Valley, and I'd like to add my commendations to your induction week. It's unique to Conestoga Valley, and we think it's a great introduction for our new staff. Is that everything?
That concludes my report.
Okay. Mrs. Martin, do we have any correspondence? I'm going to start writing us letters, just so we have.
If you write me a letter, I'll read it.
Any board comments? If not, then we're going to bring up Mrs. Smith for a fire report.
Good evening. You all have an agenda, and I'm going to kind of follow it. We'll just work our way through it here really quickly. My name is Lisa Smith. I was a building coordinator at Smoketown for 5 years, and this is my 3rd year as district coordinator for the volunteers. I graduated from CV in 1984. My 40th reunion is in the fall. And I graduated from Elizabethtown College in 1988 with a degree in business administration. I am currently employed by SOSL within the district as a lunch lady, a cafeteria aide, and I am at the middle school. I've been a widow for 12 years. My husband was a captain in the United States Navy when he died. I have 3 children. Milena graduated in 2016. She's a high school social studies teacher in Delaware. Everybody always says, bring her back. We're trying. We're trying. My next daughter is Aubrey. She graduated in 2018, and she works in the ER at Penn State, the new hospital. And my son Michael is here with me tonight. He's going into 7th grade at the middle school, and he's class of 2030. Mrs. Upton is the administrative representative for VIA, and we work together to make VIA the best it can be, and she is also here this evening. If you look at the hours, the review, in 2021, 2022, there were 4,200. We were coming back from, obviously, full lockdown and everything else. In 22, 23, we had 6,252. This year, we were just under that at 6,172. Now, with those hours, and based on an article in the LNP on June 16th, the value of a volunteer's time was $33.49 an hour. It's based on the
Wait a minute, 33.
$33.49. And it's based on the cost an organization would have to pay someone to provide the services that we do in the school. Using this figure and that number, we have saved the district $206,700.
Per year.
What, for this last year, yes. And I had the honor during the last school year to meet Mrs. Jane Eastman. She was the founder of VIA, and it took her 2 years to convince you all and the superintendent and the principals that it's to be a good thing. And she's wonderful. I know you've met her. And we were privileged to have her at a meeting and at our breakfast. And she can't believe how much we actually do now, because they were very limited when they were approved, so.
Can I interrupt you? I just wanted on the record that when you said you all, I was not alive when Jane Eastman.
Well, no, I was. I'm sorry. I was in elementary school when she did this. I was in elementary school when she started
I was
VIA.
not alive.
I'm not alive.
I was in elementary school when she started VIA, so, yeah. As I've done the past 2 years, I've met with principals and assistant principals in all the schools to see how we can better serve them and see what things their coordinators can help with in those first days, hectic first days of school, and then throughout the year. We're getting everybody kind of on the same page where we do all the laminating. We brought that back in the high school One of the secretaries had been doing it, and we said, why don't we take it back and free up their time? And they were very happy to have us come in and back in and do that. We do the large copying jobs, helpers for the library, picture days, health screenings, back to school nights. And, you know, we try and educate people on what we do versus what PTO does for the school. This year we will have 13 building coordinators, and we will support them in any way we can. We try and make it as easy for them as possible. So if something comes up, they'll come to me and I'll try and take care of it. If I can't, I'll ask Ms. Upton, what can we do? You know, how can we help them out? I especially want to thank Katie Odell and Marilyn Martin for all the behind the scenes support that they give me, especially, to get everything done. And it's so appreciated because I can't do it all either. I need help too. We continue to try and get new volunteers to come in the buildings by having a table at open houses and back to school nights. And we send out an email about 2 weeks into school. We let people kind of get rid of all those initial emails, and then we kind of come in. Mel Upton and I have been creating a vision statement for VIA to put in our media materials so we can encourage more involvement from our parents, grandparents, and community members. I would like to read you what we have come up with. Our vision is to cultivate a vibrant, inclusive network of volunteers who inspire and empower students, educators, and families. We are dedicated to engaging individuals who are passionate about contributing their time, skills, and enthusiasm to create a positive impact in the classroom and beyond. We aspire to be a model of community partnership where every volunteer's contribution is valued and their efforts are instrumental in supporting academic excellence and personal growth. By leveraging the diverse talents and perspectives of our volunteers, we envision a future where our schools are thriving hubs of innovation, engagement, and shared success. Finally, we are in the very early stages of planning VIA's 50th anniversary, which is next school year. We don't exist anywhere else in the county or even in like all of Lancaster, Lebanon. Nobody else has this program. So we want to make sure that we promote it and honor everyone that has volunteered within the district in the last 50 years. So we're going to start working on that and seeing what that looks like. And we're hoping to maybe expand the breakfast and get something out there that says, if you volunteered, please come to our breakfast, our annual breakfast, because we want to honor like everybody. So that's one of the things we're kind of looking at for the 50th.
Do you realize that's hundreds of people?
I hope so.
Okay.
I hope so.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we don't, people, the ones from 50 years ago, I don't know about that, but, hopefully we can get a lot of interest and get people to come out. You'll still be, well, then you can come.
50 years.
You can come. But that's all I have for you this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you so
We
much.
can't tell how much we appreciate all the
Yep.
work they do, and I've never been able to understand why we can't inspire this in other districts.
I don't know.
I don't know what's missing there with their communities. that they
I don't know.
can't do this.
And I don't know how we go about that.
Well, we're an example. We proved it can be done and it works well, and they can either pick up and run with it or not.
Well,
Thank
maybe
you.
next year when we're publicizing, maybe some of them will reach out to us. I don't know.
Yeah. Because there's no general organization that coordinates volunteers.
Mm-mm.
Well,
So we'll
hope
keep doing our
springs
best.
eternal. Okay, thank you
All
so
right,
much.
thank you.
Thank you.
30 years ago.
See? Come to breakfast last year.
Comments from CBEA? None? Or other employee groups? Are there any public comments on agenda items? If not, we'll move on to the consent agenda. We have issues A through D. Are there any concerns or comments before we address them? If not, then I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items for A through B.
Motion to approve the consent agenda items from A through B.
Second.
Could we have a roll call?
Mrs. Fisher?
Here.
Mrs.
Aye.
Kappa? Aye.
Here.
Mr. Eby?
Aye.
Mrs. Groff?
Aye. The only item on our action discussion agenda has to do with signage agreement. Yeah, I wasn't quite sure who was going to.
Just me. So
Just
this is
you.
just me. This is very simple. CVEF has agreed to sponsor a sort of a streaming software program for athletics that will allow them to only play approved music. Right now, they kind of have to manually go through all of their playlists for the teams. It's an expense item that wasn't in athletics budget, so CVEF has agreed to help sponsor and pay for that music streaming subscription. As part of that agreement, they're going to get signage up at the new turf fields. So this up here is just for you to approve the fact that they're going to be adding some signage for CVEF at the turf fields.
Well, here we go again. You say help fund it.
Well, they're funding it for 3 years. After that, it's a TBD, whether athletics comes up with a budget after 3 years to fund it or whether
And how
CVEF
much?
continues to renew it.
And how much is that?
Right now, it should be $5,000 a year. In 3 years, I mean, that's what we're locked in for 3 years, and then they would obviously go back for a new contract in 3 years.
5,000 per year?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Any questions? Any concerns, other than the fact that we end up absorbing this eventually?
A lot of other districts are using it, so I imagine that Dina would work, if she thinks CVF wouldn't continue to fund it, that Dina would work to find a way to put it into her budget. It's becoming kind of the norm.
Okay, I'll try to remember that in 3 years. That will require a motion to approve this, it's a contract?
Yes.
To approve the contract.
Even though it's, someone else is paying the bill, we have to still prove it?
Well, this is just for the signage part that you're.
Oh, for the signage.
Yeah, we have a contract behind the scenes for CVEF, so this is
Alright.
just you agree with the signage.
Okay,
part of it.
alright,
Okay?
I move that we approve the signage.
I second.
We'll do a roll.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's a contract,
on that
so
one.
we have to.
Mrs. Kapka?
Aye.
Mr. Talley?
Aye.
Mr. Eby?
Aye.
Mrs. Fisher?
Aye.
Mrs. Groff?
Aye, thank you. The information agenda, are there any concerns on the finance and operations report or the curriculum and instruction report? If not, are there any federal funds, Dr. Hartman?
No report.
Board reports, I have posted the IU reports, the PSBA reports, and Lancaster County Academy. I would just bring to your attention that PSBA is coming up with another election. It's the same as before. There's only one person to choose for anything. The Lancaster County Academy has hired a new program director who's already begun getting in touch with all the local school districts. I put a small addendum to the IU13 report. We obviously don't have a Lancaster County CTC report. Mr. Kendall? Already?
Have a short report. I can speak to, well, first of all, this may be information you already know, but the Smoketown switchgear is fully installed and energized. That was last Tuesday, I think Tuesday, completed Wednesday. Now, the manufacturer comes in and they do their startup and they check a couple breakers and make sure that everything is balanced in the unit. That has not happened, that's scheduled. I don't have a date on that. And actually, electrician doesn't have a firm date either, but he's talking with Square D to do that work, but it is up and energized, fully energized. The emergency generator is now not being used and we're, as they say, good to go there. Leola, primarily demolition is going on there. There is some new work, but for the most part, everybody's in there ripping and tearing from the outside to the inside in all various areas. Some of the new work is the miscellaneous metals contractors in, and he's, while ceilings are out and clear for him, he's now installing the steel required to support the operable partitions in the various areas. Mechanical, or I'm sorry, the electrical contractor is where he can hang in things like various raceways and cable trays and those types of things. Plumber is also doing some work now that some areas are cleared out. He's installing chair carriers or carriages that hold the toilet fixtures and those types of things in the areas to receive the new work. But for the most part, as you can see, all the photographs that we've shown is just demolition and clearing the building out.
Questions or concerns? Hopefully you won't be out.
Everybody seems to be happy and they're all working well together, and
That's good to hear.
it's always something we have to keep checking.
Except for everyone's on time.
Yes, yep.
Right now, that's what matters the most.
The submittal process is progressing nicely, so all the parts and pieces are being reviewed and orders are being placed.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, appreciate it. We have no other reports. Are there any public comments on any other issues? We do not have a vice president's report. Are there any board comments or announcements at this time? The dates are posted, and we have no information for the executive.
One note about the dates, that should say Monday, September 30th, not Tuesday.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Yeah, if you come Tuesday, we won't be there. That much said, I would accept a motion for adjournment.
So moved. I motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.